I was actually going to do the UConn cheer, but I don't know if I should do it anymore. So UConn is so good. I should? Yeah, okay. It's in the speech, okay. Good. This esteemed gathering calls for an esteemed greeting in my heart. And in the best way that I know how, I would like to extend my peaceful greetings. Assalamu alaikum, tanaste, and good morning. Finally, our greetings, so I hope that you all will join me and participate. UConn. Huskies. UConn. Huskies. UConn. You'll miss that when you graduate, I promise. Again, I would be remiss if I did not wish all of the mothers in attendance and those who cannot be here today, happy Mother's Day. Thank you for your countless sacrifices. Thank you, President, Provost, Dean, members of the faculty, family and friends, and most importantly, class of 2022. Thank you so much for having me here today. For some of you, college was a breeze. You came in knowing exactly what you wanted. For some of you, you had an idea and figured it out along the way. Some of you had to navigate the storm, maybe a first-generation student, and everything was new. Some of you struggled every single day and still can't believe you're here. I was that. It was God's plan. I'm not sure where you fall in that mix, but I know every part of it is worth it and valid. I almost didn't make this speech today. I was supposed to do this 2 years ago, and life happens. Ooh, life happens, right? And throughout the years, life has happened, and I'm sure this class in particular can relate to that. Yesterday, for example, I almost missed my flight. It was delayed, but again, life happens. So please, take a moment to enjoy, breathe in. Don't let this pass you by. Experience this. As I said, you earned it. It's valid. It's worth it. I could talk about anything today, such as getting your dream job, not being afraid to fail, how to find your purpose, growing up as a first-generation Muslim Guinean American woman born and raised in New York City, or what a phenomenal experience it was to play here at UConn and learning from Gino Auriemma and Chris Daly. Today, I feel deeply compelled to share the secrets of living a prolific life. Not that I live one, I'm still on my journey, but to share patterns and trends that have come up in pursuit of living a prolific life. I'm a part of an organization called Transition Play, which former WNBA player Alana Beard spearheads. Their definition of a prolific life / living an extraordinary life is imagined as a cup filled to the brim that's overflowing and pouring into others. According to Google, it is present in large numbers or quantities, plentiful, abundant, bountiful, rich, fruitful, you get it. I believe that everyone sitting here in these seats today can live a prolific life. I love using the word superhero, but in this context, since we are at UConn, I think it's fitting for us to identify being champions. For me, the three things that have been the foundation of my journey are tough questions which have forced me to look inward, quotes that have shaken my core and beautifully summarize where I was at that moment, and knowing where my Qibla is. In Islam, a Qibla is the direction of the Kaaba, a sacred building at Mecca to which Muslims turn to pray. In this context, I would use it as a way to describe where you're going. To review, questions, quotes, and finding your Qibla directions. I know we're amongst educators. I once listened to a podcast, and the guest shared something that I love. He said, the level of your life is based on the questions you ask yourself. So make sure you ask yourself great questions. I started playing basketball at the age of 12 years old, and after a crazy growth spurt, I had an amazing coach named Shanae Jones, who's my mentor today. One day, I vividly remember skipping practice to go to the park. Important, right? Priorities. The next day, I went to practice, and I still don't think I have run that much in my life. When I didn't know if I could move another limb, Shanae looked at me and said, do you think your mom works that hard for you to be like them? Do you know that you're cut from a different cloth? You need to go soul searching and figure it out, Batouly. And at the age of 12 years old, most people would have brushed that off, but that hit home. I didn't even know where to start, but I had this realization that I was going to spend the rest of my life with myself. I began the process of self-discovery. I genuinely believe this moment ignited me to start asking myself better questions. I believe great questions come to you. You can decide whether or not to pick them up and grapple with them to become more of yourself. Question everything. Have you ever had a conversation with people who know exactly how you feel and they summarize your current experience perfectly? When I first got to UConn back in 2016, I felt like I had an identity crisis. I was living my biggest fear, which was transferring. I remember meeting a Neag School professor at that time named Dr. Cooper who shared a story. And I promise you, I felt like he was reading a page of a diary entry I had never written before. That day I was able to share my story, and I was supported in a way that I cannot put into words. At the end of this, he said, "Together we rise," which changed the framework of my life. I knew I loved the concept of unity, but I never thought the idea of a shared responsibility. Essentially, the meaning is to bring others with you. That quote is the cornerstone of my nonprofit Wake, my Blair girls basketball team, and my life. I believe quotes and life affirmations are crucial on your journey to living a prolific life. Look at the quotes like pillars, moments that bring you back when you overcame something. A pillar is defined as something used to support for a building, monument, or ornament or monument, a person or thing regarded as reliably providing essential support for something. Build pillars of hope in your mind to come back to when everything else feels like it's crumbling. Stand on the moments and words that bring you back to yourself. Together we rise is a pillar of hope that stands firm in my heart. Find the quotes and sayings that move you. Set your qibla. As my mom would say, you have to know where you're going to know where you have to know where you're going, where you are now. You have to know where you come from, where you are now, and where you're going. And I believe great questions and quotes can lead you to your qibla. My mom is a phenomenal storyteller. My mom's favorite story is how she flipped $200 into $1,000 and opened up her first shop in Harlem. She also proudly shared that that shop was able to bring her siblings to the United States. And in that shop, she provided them with employment. She promises everyone in West Africa worked in her shop if you ask her, honestly. At the height of hardship, my mom lost her shop and her best friend, my father. I felt we lost so much. Then one day we were sitting at home watching TV, and I remember a loud knock on the door. No one particularly rushed to get it. My older sister finally got up and saw a letter on the floor. It was an eviction notice. My mom didn't even acknowledge the letter. Instead, she stood up, got a tape measure, and measured the TV wall. We asked her, "What are you doing?" And she said, "I'm preparing for the flat screen TV we're gonna get. I want it to be 70 inches in black." Diaka, my older sister, the gentle realist, almost in a whisper said, "Mama, this is a serious letter." My mom said, "I know where I come from in Guinea and what real hardship looks like. I know where we are right now, and inshallah, we're gonna get this flat screen TV in this house." I remember navigating New York for the first time in my life, and we will navigate this. My mom has lost a few things in life, but she has never lost hope. At that moment, she set our qibla. It was not about the TV, but dream beyond the scope of your reality. In Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl shares, "Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how." My mom has a why that ignites her soul. When I have days when I don't feel like I have a sense of purpose, all I have to do is get my tape measure and make a move. I began my prolific life journey on this very campus, and I found my purpose in 2017 after my first trip to Guinea. I created my nonprofit, Women and Kids Empowerment, Wake. Our mission, as you've heard, is to educate, equip, and empower young girls through sport, education, and social entrepreneurship programming. Alongside my peers and outstanding professor in the sport management program at the Neag School, I created our mission, logo, website on this campus, planned our first event, received our first donations, and did a TEDx talk sharing Wake with the world. At the time, the goal was to hold camps across New York and Guinea. Today, Wake has held over 10 global basketball camps, worked with over 500 girls and boys, held clinics and women empowerment workshops, and built 2 basketball courts, one in partnership with Team Up and Emmanuel Omokoro. He's a 2-time Neag alum like me, and during his trip, we were able to do an all-girls basketball camp, a school supply giveaway, and build a water pump for an elementary school. We have also provided humanitarian relief efforts by distributing over 5,000 masks at the height of COVID in partnership with We Are Africa, hold food and clothing drives that have served hundreds of Guineans, and doing street cleanings in partnership with Baba Inc. Today we are focused on holding daily programming for young girls in Guinea, building 5 courts and a center of excellence, as was mentioned, and today recognized by Forbes, Yahoo, Converse, Overtime, and at the ESPYs by Billie Jean King, SNY, and more. I wholeheartedly invite you all to become a part of Wake, and to learn more about us, please visit our website, shameless plug, wake-academy.org. I am forever grateful to the University of Connecticut, because it's here that I learned to win and lose on the biggest stages in the world. It was here that I found my purpose and created Wake. It was here that I found my faith at the Islamic Center and across campus. It is here that I began my prolific life journey, and it is here that I met people that I hope and pray will be in my life forever. I want to leave you with an extended quote, and I read this to myself once a year. It's a poem, but I call it an extended quote. It's by Mother Teresa. "People are often unreasonable, illogic, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, You'll win some false friends and some true enemies. Succeed anyway. If you're honest and frank, people may cheat you. Be frank and honest anyway. What you spend years building, someone could destroy overnight. Build anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, they may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today, people will often forget tomorrow. Do good anyway. Give the world the best you have, and it may never be enough. Give the world the best you've got anyway. You see, in the final analysis, it was never between you and them. It was between you and your God. It was never between you and them anyway. Be a superhero or be a champion. Spend time asking yourself questions. Get to know your special gifts. Feel a shared sense of responsibility to fill up those around you and set your qibla, confidently navigating the world, understanding where you come from, where you are, and where you're going. Champions do well, and most importantly, they do good. I hope you use the blueprint of asking questions, quotes, and setting your qibla to lead you to unravel, learn, and take the first step in experiencing your prolific life journey. I hope it is one of service, filled with innate curiosity, joy, one of strength, and one that leads to cups overflowing in this life and the next. Class of 2022, it is my distinct honor and privilege to get out of your way, but most importantly, to have experienced you in this moment and to have you experience me. Thank you so much for your time. I look forward to celebrating you, and congratulations.